No, I like you talking. I don't like talking. I'm not a good
Really good when there were whispers of it.
But we didn't take it, we just didn't think. Like, who would have thought?
Sri Lanka was amazing. Totally amazing. We had a great time there. It was 2 weeks of like curious and courteous people, beautiful scenery, amazing destination. We highly recommend it for
Food was so good.
so good.
Yeah.
Like just nothing but great things to say about Sri Lanka until the virus actually started to make its move across the globe.
Ooh, breakfast has arrived.
Really all is in the presentation here, isn't it?
Just lovely. Laundry day.
Hey everyone, we thought we'd make a little update here just so everyone kind of knew where we're at and what was going on. With the coronavirus outbreak and us being sort of stranded abroad, we thought we would clarify where we're at, what's going on, why we are where we are, and how we got here. We started our adventure in Sri Lanka when there were just whispers of the coronavirus starting to go out there.
Actually, no. Remember, we started in Vancouver talking about going on vacation. Then we're like, well, the coronavirus, it's nothing. It's not going to happen. We're like, no, it's gonna, because it was just little whispers of talking before we left
And
for
it was
Sri
way
Lanka.
over there in China, and it was like not
Yeah.
going to affect us.
Yeah, we're like, we're not even going to China. We actually made a point of getting our flights not through China and going a different direction.
It was certainly a calculated risk in the sense that we had survived SARS, we had survived swine flu. No one had a sense of like this being the pandemic that would put the entire world on edge. So we decided to live our lives and move on and booked our flights to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was amazing, totally amazing. We had a great time there. It was 2 weeks of like curious and courteous people, beautiful scenery, amazing destination. We highly recommend it for
Food was so good.
so good. A lot
Yeah.
of like just nothing but great things to say about Sri Lanka until the virus actually started to make its move across the globe. And Italy was really the harrowing example. And little did I know actually that Sri Lanka and Italy have a very close economic tie. We learned this from some of the friends that we made over there, and it was really interesting because with that economic tie came the virus, and with that tie also came the stigma of Italians being infected, and so therefore the local media painted all Westerners as infected Italians, and the mood swung so sharply. It was unbelievable.
Are they saying that? Oh man, they're hilarious. Watch Marina scatter the bunch.
So, the closer I got to them, the more they're freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, coronavirus is coming! Coronavirus is coming!" Mother included grabs children and just like gets the fuck out of Dodge as the tourist comes towards them. So they're waving hello and hi, but the same token, they're running away with fear. It's crazy. Crazy.
It was within 48 hours we went from welcome tourists to lepers. It was insane. From people seeming a little bit worried about it to people, pointing at us and whispering, "Coronavirus, coronavirus."
Where are you from? Where are you
Where
from?
are you from? Making sure that we weren't from Italy, making sure we weren't from other places. And at a certain point, it just didn't matter. As people were passing us, they would cover their mouths and whisper coronavirus. Within a day, it was people standing in the street and shouting and pointing at us, coronavirus. So
Even the police officer that drove past us, and there was two of them. One guy was like pleasant, and the other guy looked at us, frowned, and put his visor down.
And we get it. It was, for them, it's scary. It was scary for us just because we were the focus of their xenophobia and race-based fear. It was racism. It's a tricky thing to talk about, but anyone who was a white person was clearly an infected Italian that was there to threaten them. And it was just a very unsafe feeling we had there, and it was time to get out. We made the decision. Within a day, we were driving from the north in Jaffna all the way down to Negombo and jumped on a flight that next day.
But what sealed the deal, though, was, I'll admit, I was a little bit in denial of leaving, and I was just like, this is too beautiful, we came so far, maybe it's just like this because of the smaller community, like rural area we were in, and the more south we went, all of a sudden people lightened up a bit and were a bit more smiley towards us, still standoffish, but was more engaging. Then again, when you think about it, it was our friend Samit's friends who were being nice to us. But then the next day, I was still off and on, and me and Trevor were both kind of like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And Marina was very adamant about, we need to go. And I was still in denial, and we went for lunch, and I was denied entry. He stopped me in the middle of the road and was like, no. And I was looking, I went, me? And he's like, no. And I turned around,
Coronavirus.
and I walked away, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, I was in the back on my motorbike, leaned over in the hot heat, watching it all happen, and it was shocking, but it wasn't shocking. I was like, I wasn't waiting for this to happen. I just felt like something's happening. I could feel a shift. I can see body language. I can see eyes. It was changing within 24 hours so drastically that my radar was, I like to say my JoJo was going off big time. Day 48, the next day, we were like, that's when it happened, was day 2, and we're just like, we gotta get out. As soon as we stopped, my biggest fear was, if we stop getting food, if we stop getting water, we got to get out. And Linda was like, if it happens, it happens. But you know what? It happened. And that's when we're like,
I said, I'll panic when it happens. And it happened at that restaurant. And I said, all right, this is it. I think, yes.
We did find it, but 15 minutes later, we did find a restaurant to go eat at. It was a restaurant we had ate at 2 days prior when things were still calm. So we knew our faces were known. We went there. There were still eyes on us. One of the guys working at the restaurant, who wasn't on shift, but I guess, they live upstairs, work downstairs. He came down to get some food, and he looked at us, and he's like, coronavirus, coronavirus. And his friend laughed, and I'm just like, oh my God. But they still let us into the restaurant. But while we were sitting at the restaurant, one of the other servers circled us with disinfectant and just did circles and go, while we're eating. I was like, oh my God. And we're facing the door. And we would see people coming up, all casual, and as soon as they saw us at the door, they would stop and glare, and they'd back up, and they'd just go back and forth glaring at us, and then they would leave. And I was like, while I'm trying to eat, and it was just like, wow, it was like just knives going into your soul, experiencing this. I'd never in a million years ever thought I'd ever experience something like that, and
But I get it.
we get it.
I am not, I don't hold any anger towards them. I just feel what shook me was the, how fast a person or a group of people or whomever can switch so fast.
Yeah.
That's what really got me in my soul. It was, I understood the worry because I get it, but I was just blown away by how much people could turn on you over, if you're the focus of something that is apparently bad. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And then we also fully understand like the situation there. They suffered through a 25-year civil war. They're barely 10 years out of that. They're not really used to foreigners. And
The
they
bombing
also
that
had,
happened.
there was also sectarian violence just a year ago. So their tourism industry took a hit there. There's just a lot of tension there. And now with the coronavirus, this was just one more thing that they had to deal with. It's not a rich country. And if they could find someone to blame for this problem, then it was an easy way for them to vent their frustration. And so we get it, and we don't hold it against them. It's unfortunate, and we will return once the world finds its equilibrium. But it was clearly time to leave.
If travel's still allowed.
If travel's still allowed.
If we're still allowed
in the
to
future.
travel. Maybe that's going to be off the cards. Like, who knows?
So our next step was to get back to Kuala Lumpur, which was our next jump point to get back to Vancouver if we were headed that direction. Our flights were off in the future, but Kuala Lumpur was the place to go from there. We got to Kuala Lumpur. We're talking to airlines, and with flight cancellations and the mad rush to repatriate, we found out that the earliest we would be able to get back onto Canadian soil was April 1st. And when they said that, I thought, you're joking, right? Aha.
I thought it was an emergency.
Right? Well, I mean, yeah, Justin Trudeau said come home, but
Come
how?
on now.
Yeah, come home now, but how? So given that there wasn't anything really available, we decided we needed to make a jump to somewhere else.
Also, you forgot to say, our flight was canceled.
Oh yeah, start there,
They
man.
didn't even tell us.
Yeah, that flight got canceled, and we didn't even get
A notice.
no notice, nothing. Just we looked into it and we're like, oh, that flight's canceled now. But we made our way to Kuala Lumpur, and I don't think we realized how much stress we were carrying and how much we were trying to sort of explain away or normalize the xenophobia and the bad treatment that we were receiving in Sri Lanka. Because when we arrived in Kuala Lumpur, it was this completely different atmosphere, a breath of fresh air. People didn't look at us twice. People were super nice to us, very hospitable, and Kuala Lumpur is a cosmopolitan city, so we were totally normal there. People were concerned about the coronavirus, but no one was treating anyone differently based on who they were or where they came from.
They were a little bit, they did inquire, but they weren't as they were like,
Yeah,
they said, oh, where are you from? Yeah, the corona.
it's crazy. Yeah,
It's shutting down tomorrow. You guys be able to leave. Are you able to leave?
Yeah, so in terms of the timing, we'd arrived in Kuala Lumpur literally the day before they decided to shut down everything, from the public schools to the government buildings and so forth, and restaurants. And some hotels too, I think. The hotel we were staying at wasn't going to be open the day after we were there, so it was just as well that we were moving on. Given that we couldn't get any flights back to Canada, the choice was, if this rolling wave moving across the world is going to catch us, we need to decide where we're going to be when it does. And we decided, well, given all the circumstances in Sri Lanka and how we want things to be at least hospitable, civil, we decided to go to Bali. Since flights inside of Southeast Asia are crazy cheap, actually, we got round-trip tickets to and from Denpasar from Kuala Lumpur for $150 US each, which is fantastic. I'm willing to swallow that price. We'll see if we can ride it out here in Bali. So that brings us to where we're at today. We are in Bali, and weirdly enough, it is business as usual here. We don't feel any sense of the chaos in the world outside. It's like the coronavirus is this mayhem that's happening on the horizon, and there's no sense of urgency here. Yet.
They just put something out today, I believe.
There was an alert that came out today to avoid large gatherings, but
I just got, sorry to interrupt, I just got the notification from the Canadian Embassy travel advisory thing. I just got it 10 minutes ago.
So the COVID-19 situation in Indonesia is deteriorating rapidly, and availability of healthcare services in country is rapidly becoming more and more limited. Flight options to return to Canada are also rapidly decreasing. The embassy is sending all non-essential staff and their families back to Canada. Well, now that reading that, thanks for... Anyways, we're coming home as soon as we can. Thanks for telling us, Marine.
I just got it.
Well, you heard about it here live. We might be fucked.
We are doing our best, though. I don't know.
No, here's the thing. We are making our absolute best to get back and make appropriate decisions. It's such a fluid situation. Things are changing hour by hour.
And we are being mindful of, who we're interacting with. Like, the other day, this woman came up to me and she wants me to hold her baby. And I'm like, no, I can't.
And Linda to not hold the baby.
I like holding babies. and then, what was the other one? Oh, the restaurant where I went to take a picture of I just want to take a picture of the bill, and she thought I was taking my phone out to take a picture with her, and she goes and puts her arms around me, and it's just like, and I was just like, what's going on? I'm like, no touching.
We're supposed to be social distancing.
I'm social
so here's the
distancing.
thing. There really is no sense of like people being informed here.
Yeah.
And so, and the industry here is so based on personal services. As we move through for, essential things like food, everyone wants to give us a ride. Everyone wants to make us dinner. Everyone wants to give us a massage. In this age of social distancing, it is weird to me that no one here really seems to get it, care, or are they consciously making a choice to sacrifice their personal safety for economic safety or financial gain in order to survive the coming weeks and months that will provide an awful lot of instability for people here who don't make a lot of money to begin with.
All I want to let people know is that we're not here in Bali to be assholes. We are here because this has just happened to be the most logical place to be, because we could not get home until April 1st, which was the earliest.
We've been one day ahead of every single airport closure. Us deciding it and then it happening. So it's really trippy.
Yeah. So anyways, the situation is quite fluid right now. We're not sure what's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
I just hope it doesn't turn out like Sri Lanka.
I don't think it'll turn out like Sri Lanka. The attitude here and the cosmopolitan nature of this island is just so different.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah, I already had one
But-
guy bump into me and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. If anything happens, I'll marry you." And I said, "Okay."
Is that what he
Yeah,
said?
that's what he said when he bumped into me, and I was like, "Okay." So like already,
See, I think if we couldn't get home, this is
yeah.
at least.
Well, for now. I mean,
now, yeah.
the thing is, though, if they are not taking necessary precautions, this could go sideways very quickly, and that's very concerning. And I'm concerned for our safety. I'm concerned for the safety of the Indonesian people, and worried as hell for everyone back home. So we're just trying to make the best of the situation. Hopefully we'll get home soon. Stay safe, everyone, and wash your hands.
Which I've washed my hands so many times. Wash, wash, wash.
And we're not panicking. Of course, we're worried. We're making the best of a situation that's unfolding hour by hour. But I hope none of you think that we're just sitting here ignorantly jumping on one plane to the next for a holiday, because it's not what we're doing. We're literally getting out of countries where they're shutting down the airport, trying to make our connections and to get home. But
Yeah. In
Not
contrast, on the flight here, the girl beside us brought her own hula hoop, her own ukulele, and left her bra at home. So we're not that person. Anything else to add, guys?
thanks for all the FaceTime and messages. It's wonderful to keep in touch that way. And we have kept our social medias kind of like, we've stopped posting, we've stopped updating. Close friends and family who are who are interested, and want to know our well-being and safety and what's going on. We've been communicating with all of you every chance we get. But the lack of Facebook posts and updates has nothing to do with fear. It's just social media right now is you word one thing wrong and somebody will read it with their own opinion. You need to know the whole story to understand what's happening, if that makes sense. So the silence is just because we don't want to...
We just don't want to deal with the backlash, really. We're just out here trying to do our best, make the best of a situation. And thanks to everyone for their support and reaching out to us and providing us with information as it develops.
Yes, that's been so nice.
So helpful. All of you out there sending your post here. Have you heard this? Wonderful people phoning the embassy for us. You know, like there's so many of you that have been so great, so helpful, phoning airlines for us, doing their best. It's awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's it for now. We'll see you on the flip-flop. What a dumb way to end it. Flip-flop.
You said it.
Bye.
Spicy. I love spice.
We like spicy.
I love spice. Oh, terima kasih. And for the drink?
May I try your homemade udang?
Udang sachan?
Chan. The best. Oh, yes. How is it, Trevor?
It's cinnamon.
Yeah, it's got like a kick to it. It's like refreshing, but it's got that cinnamon and ginger kick to it.
I kind of wish I would have got the turmeric one just to see the turmeric.
And
But
this one. Let's give it a little sippy sip.
sippity sip.
Loving the bamboo straws.
And the lemongrass Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Merry Christmas. That's what it tastes like. Merry Christmas.
This insane property. Literally have the properties that they
So Trevor, what do you say about these quiet streets?
Watch it behind you though.
if you say it's quiet.
Other than the odd moped, the streets are pretty quiet, which I mean, it's devastating for the tourism industry and the people who depend on it, but I guess this kind of counts as social distancing. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's all a mix.
There's no right answer.
No, we definitely do feel for the locals here. We see numerous taxi drivers, empty restaurants.
And as much as we have to penny pinch, I'm just like, buy the juice, Linda, at breakfast. I mean, it's an add-on. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
For now, I'm okay.
One of everything.
$50,000. kilo for 1,000. Oh, how many is that? 1 kilo. Okay.
Okay.
Done. No, it's okay. Thank you.
No.
Those are good too.
Okay, I will try. I like lychee.
Here, I'll hold that.
Yum, yum.
Thank you.
We're not getting falafels. The falafel place was closed. We're getting pizza. So we just left the hotel room for some provisions. It's about 9 o'clock at night here. Streets are very quiet. Got ourselves a little takeaway pizza and some deep fried shrooms, baby. Probably won't be good, but you know.
No, it's gonna be delicious. Everything is here so like handcrafted and delicious. It's gonna be the best deep fried mushrooms we've ever had.
We'll keep you posted. Alright, what do these bad boys look like?
Staple the soft plastic together. And voila! Ooh, they look pretty good.
A good little dip in sauce. And how about the pizza? What does the pizza look like?
Well, we got moment of truth. What does the
Let's
pizza
see.
look like?
Is it Cuba pizza?
Actually looks decent.
Better than Cuba.
Let's see how it tastes. You know what? Everything in Bali tastes great so far, so I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Alright, grab a slice. Do the taste test, guys.
Chicken.
First bite, Linda.
Not bad.
Trevor.
I've definitely had worse.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, let's grab a slice. Still warm. Yeah, it's cheesy. It's good. I approve.
Marina's magic words. Cheesy.
Cheese.